Hello everyone, welcome back to the SMITE Guide to Zhong Kui. This is Zhong Kui's second best role, carry. In my opinion, Zhong Kui plays best in the solo lane, because his stun is often enough to get him out of trouble in that lane. Most people visiting your lane are going to just be the junglers, so most of the time, you really just, Oh, interesting, his support Bakasur, technically. Anyways, before I got distracted, solo is, in my opinion, his best role because his stun is enough to get the enemy jungler and the enemy solo off of him in a lot of situations. So even if you get ganked, as you could see from the previous episode, there were, I think, 2 successful ganks, me overstaying a couple of times, but for the most part, the stun was enough to get me out of most ugly situations in that lane. It is only a little more risky in ADC because you have the enemy support to deal with as well, who typically does present some potential issue here. But that really depends largely on specifically how much the enemy jungle / support comes into lane, but conceptually you are going to be visited more often, so it is a higher risk to play Zhong Kui there. And again, you're really technically playing around his complete lack of escape. He doesn't even have a move speed boost like Kukulkan, because technically Kukulkan doesn't have an escape either, but he can buff his move speed. Zhong Kui doesn't even have that. So you are really just trying to be as aware as possible of where you are. I again got too arrogant last game, but it works out just fine. Now, again, you're going to start with the Gilded Arrow because that is a really strong amount of basic attack damage, especially important when you consider Book of Demons does 50% of your basic damage. So it's very important you grab that first, and then we are going to actually start working towards Ringificate, so we have some nice sustain. Now, we're also going to grab healing potions here. Does Bakasur have... He does have Hog. Okay, so we're just going to grab some health potions here, and then we're going to grab Aegis. Yes, I just had to double check and make sure they didn't have Ares, Persephone. Oh, everyone's over here. I think the Arachne is confused. Oh, she's putting down webs. That's why. Interesting opening strat for that, but I'm going to trust her on that one. I haven't played Arachne on the new map, so I don't know what her web spawns are. Her web drops, technically. But anyways, back to the main point. Now that I've completely lost my... Yes, the only time you don't start with Aegis as ADC, or mid, this also applies to mid, but the only time you don't start with Aegis is if there is an Ares, a Daji, a Persephone, or a Hades... because those have ults that'll pull you in, and it just gets very ugly very quickly. That's his. It gets just really ugly really quickly, and Beads is the only way you survive the early to mid game. Aegis isn't going to help you in those situations. But beyond that, you're pretty much golden. Also, just shout out really quick there, look how much damage that I was doing to those camps. I just want you to really understand how significant Gilded Arrow really is for Zhong Kui. It's not about attack speed, it's about that basic attack power that he brings to bear. Now what I'm going to do is pressure this a little bit, because the only hunter that can actually outclear Zhong Kui, auto-attack Zhong Kui, is, frankly, Izanami. She's the only one who can do it. Nice. There we go. I'm not too concerned about enemy mid coming over, to be completely honest. They are going to be way too late. The fight's already over. But this is really the power of Zhong Kui ADC here. This is a very powerful early game, and all you have to really do is just stay ahead. That's literally it. Just stay ahead of the enemy, and you're golden. Bakasur is an interesting support choice, but it works out really well because we really get to take advantage of that auto-attack, and if he builds auto-attack Bakasur as support, this can work out extremely well for us in general. Yeah, you go right on ahead and stun me. I'm just going to use this health potion. Quasi-miraculously dodge the bags. What are you doing, Fafnir? I'm going to do the stun there. He shouldn't be going in. He should not be going in. Yeah, that was too aggressive of him. Just far too aggressive. I'm going to go ahead and do this really quick because I can get away with this. I know for a fact I can get away with this. I have too much health potion going on. I shouldn't have activated that health potion, but here we are. I have my self-heal. And then we're just going to really quickly Aegis out of there, and we're just going to dodge shots. This is totally fine. We're going to use one more health potion here, and we're going to be pretty careful here because we're going to also be able to self-heal, but we're not going to at this point because, yeah, that takes 2 seconds to clear. And I have my health potion going. So... Yes! Barely caught that in time. Now we're going to increase the stun just again primarily so we can exit out a lot of situations. Now keep in mind that whereas solo lane didn't increase that first, because you want the expose evil for your wave clear in solo lane, because our auto attacks are so strong, we don't need expose evil for the wave clear as much. There is some need obviously because the auto attacks aren't as quick. But they're fast enough where a lot of the time you really aren't going to need to get that heavy in terms of expose evil. So it's actually better to pick up the... What is this called again? Book of Demons. I don't know why I keep forgetting that. It's better to pick up the Book of Demons so that way you can just get out of ugly situations, because the higher the ranks in Book of Demons, the better your stun is. Not by much, you can see it's not a huge jump, it only is by 0.1 second, but it doubles if they're marked by Expose Evil, so it can help out. But it's just something really to keep in mind if you're playing ADC. Again, you are more likely to be ganked in the ADC role than you are in the solo role, which is why it is more important to have that stun be increased. Alright. That was kind of bad calling, but alright. And then we take that, and then we heal mildly. It's fine. We're going to go ahead and grab this. Now, the Fafnir is actually making a mild mistake here in not leaving lane and letting the Danzabaru farm by himself. I do believe... Now, I used it there very specifically so I could get away from the... Nope. I'm going to be able to out-damage his auto attacks very easily a lot of the time. We're actually going to go ahead and replace this ward here. Okay, there's Fafnir, so we're going to get out of dodge. Oh, you're going whole hog, huh? Alright. Yeah, he's going to kill me with that poison. And there really wasn't going to be a whole lot I could do about that. But it's not that big of a deal. I get Ringificate. I'm going to be able to buy the wards I need. I'll be able to repurchase my mana potion. And the only reason I'm purchasing the mana potion is for some pretty serious sustain. Again, you are more likely to be ganked, and unlike the solo lane, you don't have access to a mana buff, so you are going to want to do whatever you can to stay in lane as much as possible because you really want to get beefy. And right now I am beating out Danzabaru because I am just beating him out score-wise. He's died one more time than me. I've got 400 more gold. I'm up a level. I'm probably only up by 3/4 of a level. I don't think I'm up a full level, if I had to take a guess. And then we take these out, and there they are right over there. We're going to go ahead and plant a ward right here. That didn't work for some reason. Alright. There's Danzabaru, but where is Fafnir? His ult should be down. No, you don't even get to use that. You don't even get to use that. I'm going to let her solo clear that jungle. I don't need to split that jungle with her. Fafnir, I don't think knows I'm here. No. I'm at full HP anyways, so he's not going to be able to kill me regardless. I also have Ringificate for extra power and for lip-smackingly delicious lifesteal. He'll try and stall me just like that, but it's really not going to be that big of a deal. I can actually probably just full heal from this. if I really wanted to. At this point, I'm really not in too much danger, except by a 3-man gank or a particularly bad duel with Danzaburou. Again, you'll notice that Fafnir is remaining over here. That is going to be very unfortunate for Danzaburou's experience gains. And he's going to need to be very careful with that. Now, the next thing we're going to increase is the heal. Again, this is more for the sustain. We don't really need the wave clear out of Expose Evil so much. Because we can always just also use this for the just damage output here. We just go on ahead and blast through this. And there we go. And there's Danzaburou just doing his thing. He's not going to push this. I'm kind of surprised. I was expecting him to push. Almost timed. That was almost well timed. We're going to go ahead and increase our ult here because that's stupid powerful for us. Our Aegis is almost back up, so we pretty much are going to be able to guaranteed win the next fight, to be completely honest. Where is he at? Oh, he bailed. Oh, there he is. Oh, we got that. You're serious? I'm not sure what he was expecting, where he was expecting me to go. Oh, Ra came over. Okay, that's what's going to be fatal. Yeah, that Ra coming over. Once my cooldowns came back up, I probably would have been able to take out Danzaburou, but Ra coming over definitely killed me. Oh, they're going to take the Gold Fury already, huh? That's pretty bold. That's very bold, actually. Interesting. He was so close. He really was. If he had just been a bit earlier... What do I want next? We'll go for this. No, I don't want this. I want something that is going to give me a certain amount of cooldowns. But I'm having a pretty serious brain cramp here. We'll go for Spear of Desolation, I think, actually. Would be a really good idea. Even on auto-attacking, mages, it's still a very strong item. It'll be nice to have. I just want a little bit of cooldowns for particularly my stun is primarily my concern here. I'll probably grab Demonic Grip. I don't always purchase this, but in this particular circumstance, with Ra's heal increasing their protections, I think it'll be a really useful item here. I'll obviously want Telkines as well. And then, no, because I want Rod of the Booty, so I might go for Percentage Pen instead. No, I have a better plan. I'll have to readjust the Spear of Desolation. I think I've got a slightly better idea rolling around in my head. But in the meantime, since I have no idea where Danzaburou went... Okay. Let's see how this works. You saved that up for that long? That was impressive. And again, he is haunting this lane specifically to try to help Danzaburou, but you can actually see the error here in that Danzaburou is still 2 levels down from me, despite the fact that I've died 3 times almost in a row now. And it's just because Danzaburou isn't getting the full experience here. And that's, even though it looks like they're doing a good thing, it looks like Fafnir is doing a good thing, he stays too long. Even the gank itself isn't necessarily the problem. That's fine. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, yeah. Even though it looks like what he's doing is helpful to Danzaburou, because he's staying in lane so long, Danza is not getting that much golden experience out of this. He'll probably hit level 9 by the time I hit lane, but I'm still going to be ahead of him despite dying 3 times now. And there's just absolutely nothing they can do about that. And the next fight I guaranteed win because my ult will be up and my Aegis is up. See, that pushed him up to level 9, which, I mean, I don't know why Bakasura was up there. That was a little bit greedy of him, but fair enough. Fair enough. That's also, well, his escape. And there's Danza. I don't think I'm gonna... Yeah, this isn't a gank. Okay, she warded that. I'm gonna go ahead and see if... Nope, there's not. Okay. Worth a check. I'm going to go ahead and ward this really quick and then grab this. Good steal. And then we're just going to come over here as Bakasur goes on to Danzabaru. I should have used my Aegis, my, what do you call it first? Doesn't matter, we still won the fight. That was definitely a shout out to a huge amount of credit to my boy Bakasur there. That was pretty good. We're going to take everything now. We are going to take absolutely everything. We're going to capitalize on this so much. Take everything. Excellent. Just let the minions push that down as we take this. Perfect. And we're going to take this. Stanza's back. Okay. That's fine. We get our purple buff. Bakasur is stealing a little bit of experience away from me, but considering I'm ahead, it's not actually that much of a problem. Uh-huh. I have my ult in 3, so I'm not too concerned about it. I just want to heal off of this wave really quick here. There we go. Not as much healing as I'd like personally, but fair enough. Perfect. You can't honestly kill me. So I'm just going to heal off this mini wave in the background here. And then stun you. Oh no, you are going to kill me. Okay. You do a lot more damage than I was expecting. Fair enough, but that doesn't make a huge difference because, again, he's not Danzabaru, so it's kind of okay at this point, you know what I'm saying? Trying to figure out... Yeah, no, I know exactly what I want here. Okay, now we can pull this off. At this particular point, I'm going to go for Puri. No. I'm actually going to grab Sprint. No, that's not what I need. Relic, there we go. Because I can grab the Hastened Wings. This also really helps me out with my Aegis and my ult as well. So that's going to be very good. And I'm going to grab my Void buff really quick first. Yeah, no, we should be fine to grab Void buff because here's Bakasur. Alright. Just in time to take the wave out. We can just wipe that whole wave at this point, which is fantastic. We're going to put down another ward over here. Do we have an actual fight over here or not? Oh, it looks like there is. I want to clear this wave really quick first, or at least do this. Clear that. Leave that the way it is. They're too far up. I mean, I know we're doing really well as a team, but they were way too far up for this. Okay, we're going to back off now. I am going to take this. I anticipate possibly I'll see set. I'm not too concerned about it. I have Aegis and my ult up. So I don't anticipate much trouble with any fight, whatever fight comes next. We take these out. Was that Danzabaru I saw in the jungle there? No, it was not. I thought it was. My ward is badly placed on the left there. I mean, I'm sorry, the upper part. But that's okay. Pardon me. Let me just choke my saliva real quick. This is fine. Here's Fafnir again. Again, taking Danzaburto's experience in gold that he cannot afford to lose at this point. No, I know what you're up to. We're just going to go ahead and sprint that. No, we're not going to bother with that. I wanted to sprint that because Bakasura was too far away for that fight. That was not going to be a good fight for me at that particular point in time. Oh, he went deep. I wish he'd called that. He got some nice poke in, but I wish he'd called that so I could have gotten a little bit more going on there. Enemy missing, huh? Okay. He's going to chase... It's the chase of the supports. Okay. Not really a problem. Yeah, you better run. I don't have the coverage I want there, and there's stuff in the jungle that I want to grab, so I'm going to go ahead and do that instead. I don't care if he gets the wave. It doesn't really concern me. I'm 3 levels ahead. Pretty soon I'll be 4 levels ahead. It doesn't really make a difference. I called that, my dude. I don't know where Danza is. That's fairly interesting. Where could you be? There you are. You couldn't possibly be. You are! Not bad. We got some poke. You do not want to fight me right now. I'm telling you. They're not going to be able to fight me right now. He took too much damage from that. I don't know if Danzaburto used his ult to get away. I couldn't quite tell. I thought I heard it, but I could be wrong. Nope. Too late. You're too late. Sorry, Faf. It's just not going to work out for you, is it? Take all of that. Run back in here. Get to finally use my mana potions to bring myself back up. We're going to use the last mana potion. I should need that. I'm expecting to need that. And then we can just push this down because Fafnir is now 4 levels down and I'm really not threatened by him. Yeah, you better run. You're going to just tank the whole McCoy? Okay. Respect. Now you back off, huh? You're waiting for someone. Probably Danza, but I know you're waiting for someone, but this is going to be gone by that time. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and steal their Void buff. No, I'm going to go ahead and help with the Gold Fury. I didn't think they were going to start that quick. They don't even need me there, never mind. That's gone, okay. Don't know where Danza is. There's Danza. That was a bit of a waste, but alright. He is going to kill me this time, because I unfortunately did not have my Aegis up, which was very important for that fight. I mean, again, I'm level 19, it's not that big of a deal. Pretty soon I'll be getting the Ornate Arrow, and then I'll be able to really curb stomp, and then after that I'll be getting Rod of the Booty, which is going to be even better. So it's going to get very disgusting very quickly. And again, the Ra is good. I've only seen him once, but what he has done was fairly impressive, and he is level 20. I mean, the Kukulkan hasn't done badly, but the Ra is definitely a strong player here. The Fafnir shouldn't really have 7 kills, I'm going to be really honest. That's... And this is yet another example of how little kills matter to supports. Fafnir is the same level as Bakasura, and only has, what, 1,000 more gold, despite having literally 5 more kills and only 1 death. He is more of an ADC than the Danza is, in all honesty, and it just does not mean anything. I didn't even notice, I was too busy ranting. I wouldn't have made it anyways, to be completely honest. Oh, maybe I will. I can save Kukulkan, I think. Meet your match, son. You want some? Didn't think so, punk. Alright. I have 10% pen, so it's not all bad. But I definitely need the penetration from Rod of the Booty. Are we just going to dive this, or what's going on? You know what? I'll tank this. Whatever. I don't care. I have 40 extra protections. I know Danz's ult is down, so it's very much whatever. I can heal off of minions if I could just find some. That might be the real problem. I'm going to go ahead and clear this jungle really quick. I don't want to leave anything behind for Danza. Also, I can fully heal and just immediately move on to the next. I probably won't, though. Because, quite frankly, I have enough for Ornate Arrow. And I just want to clear this really quick. Because Sobek should be able to get out of that, to be completely honest. I'm going to go back, grab Ornate Arrow. Nope, I'm sorry, Diamond Arrow, pardon me. And then start working on the booty. Alright, now we're going to really be cooking with peanut oil. We're going to ignore the speed buff, not only because we need to get over to left lane, but because I don't want to drop that and have Arachne not be able to get that. That's very important. Ah, they're starting too early. Yep. Somebody on the enemy team is close to death. Who is that? That's Ra? Okay. You want some? Is that what you want? Let me back up a little bit here. Is this the real? That is the real one, but the Ra killed me. I was way too aggressive on that. I'm going to be really honest. I was far and away too aggressive on that. Danza has... Yeah, he's got lifesteal at the wazoo. He's got crits and lifesteal. That is purely what healed him back up in time. I got too aggressive on that. I shouldn't have gone in by myself. That was a good grab. That was a little awkward, but he's not going to be able to do it. Yeah. Danza's finally coming into his own. Now that, yeah, he's got the crits, so that's going to be pretty rough for everyone else involved. But he's got a good build for what he's trying to do. Except I kind of question the Golden Blade. Huh. Alright, let's go ahead and... right now there's not really anything specifically we're going for, so I'm going to go ahead and grab some farm. And then what I want to do is pick up some lip-smacking, delicious Rod of the Booty. Because right now, we're not really looking to fight anywhere. There's nothing really we need. I am going to try to solo the Gold Fury just experimentally so you can kind of see how that goes. It's fairly interesting. Now I have the Void buff. I want to grab the Oracles first just to make sure they don't have that warded because I really don't want to be ganked at that point. Yes, I have Aegis and my ult. I just don't want them stealing it from me. Okay, no wards. I think I can do this. Yeah. Enemy ultimate incoming where? And there you go. Soloing Gold Fury as ADC Zhong Kui. Yeah, can you give me 1 second, please? I'm trying to buy more items. Alright. Now, I would like to grab more souls before we get into the next team fight. I've only got 18. Let's do more. I think we still get this. We're retreating from this? No, we can take this. We got this. That was a fake one. Alright, I was curious. That was a pretty important question. We going on? What are we doing? There's somebody over there. Nope. Ultimate is ready, but it's not where I would ideally like it to be. Hi there. No, Ra, you're too late. You are far and away too late for that. And Fafnir is, for some unholy reason, just in mid lane? Why? They needed Fafnir there very badly. Why is Fafnir in mid? I don't understand. This will be great for myself. I didn't even need to use my ult last battle, and I still have my Aegis as well, so it's going to be pretty huge. No. No. Just no. You got, punk. Get out of my face. And I want you to understand that this is a fairly typical auto-attack Zhong Kui build. You actually will primarily be building this a lot of the way most of the time. It's just such a fantastic build. It really is. Zhong Kui plays so much better in ADC than a lot of people give him credit for. He really is slept on in the ADC role. And again, I need to caution you. It is very risky. A lot of hunters have some method of getting out of a fight. Zhong Kui does not have this. So you do need to be extremely careful. Now, the Bakasura support actually was really important because it allowed Zhong Kui to be as aggressive as he needs in the early game. And again, if you come up against an Izanami, you've pretty much already lost, because unfortunately Zhong Kui will not be able to build up the momentum to be able to do that. But other than Izanami, and possibly Sheep Blanque, who actually does pose some threat as well, that's more of an even match with Zhong Kui than the domination that is Izanami. But as long as you're not facing Izanami as the enemy ADC, you should be able, with a strong enough early game ADC, to really slap as ADC Zhong Kui. Now, keep in mind that a lot of the most popular supports right now are fairly early game. Atlas, Yemoja. Fafnir also makes for a great support for Zhong Kui. And you really want an early game support for Zhong Kui. So if you've never played Zhong Kui in the ADC role, give him a try. You really it takes a little bit of practice, because you do need to be better at gauging, oh, what's the likelihood I'm getting ganked. You'll notice I was a lot more careful with that than I was with the solo. I was pretty arrogant as a solo lane Zhong Kui. That's partially me being a lunatic. But you will notice I was a lot more careful as ADC Zhong Kui. And again, it is because, as the Fafnir actually proved, throughout that match, that you're much more likely to be visited by people in that lane, whereas as solo, I could rely on not seeing anybody else in lane other than the enemy solo for a decent amount of time, if ever, depending on how attentive the jungler felt. So really, that's a large part of what it comes down to, is being a bit more careful than you typically would be as an ADC. You really have to be kind of paranoid as ADC Zhong Kui, because if you get ganked by too many people and your stun is down, you're doomed. And you'll also notice that a lot of the time I was talking about the ult and the Aegis, I wasn't necessarily talking about that in the ability to escape from a fight, because obviously that's not going to help you escape from a fight. It was my ability to guaranteed win the next fight. Alright, and again, those were guaranteed fight wins with one exception, because I was ahead, and by a decent bit. Actually, towards the late game, the farther the game went along, the much more snowbally I was getting. And again, that does come down to the Fafnir really just staying too long in lane. Bakasura actually did the right thing. He came in occasionally to slap down Danza when he was catching up a little too fast for our preferences. But once he killed Danza, he might take a couple of jungle camps, but then he left. He didn't stay in lane as long as Fafnir did. Fafnir kept coming in and out of the lane, and he was pretty consistently in lane. And Bakasur, while he did occasionally steal the once in a while jungle camp, and he maybe grabbed a couple of minions on his way through, he didn't stay in lane for longer than maybe cleaning up the last of a wave or grabbing a single camp on his way in or out, right? He played that really marvelously as a support, and it is really refreshing for me as a support main to see Bakasur used correctly. I do question the Golden Blade. His build is really great. This is a fantastic build, except for Golden Blade. I understand this is for wave clear purposes, but that's not really the point of playing support, so I do disagree with the Golden Blade pickup here. Now, again, I'm not even going to say again because I haven't mentioned this, but I am going to specifically criticize Golden Blade in the late game. In the early game, it's actually pretty important for Bakasura support, even Bakasura support, to grab Golden Blade so you can still damage the enemy ADC through the minions. You could see in the early game, if you go back and watch the first 2 full minutes, it gets pretty messy there with all those minions. So Golden Blade is actually fine for the early game, but it's not something you want to keep throughout the game, and he had a full build, and, well, he had a mostly full build. He was probably saving for Mannequin Scepter. He probably didn't get around to selling Golden Blade, but this is something that even if you want to start with it, that's fine, but you need to sell it in the late game, because in the late game, when you're trying to be tanky, this isn't going to do you diddly squat. This is better replaced with some form of support item, ideally something like Pridwin or a Cloak. Mantle Discord is a really strong pickup, just to give Bakasura some tankiness there. Maybe Berserker's Shield, that's actually pretty good defensively now. Things like that you want to replace it with. But overall, just a strong performance by Bakasura. Great pick for Zhong Kui ADC. Definitely a more interesting and more intense duo lane than you typically see. Definitely a gamble, because if we fell off, if we did poorly in that first fight, the duo lane was doomed. Both of us were just going to go down swinging. Fortunately, we were able to really pick up what we needed to. We got first blood, I believe. We did a lot of damage to the two of them. Even though Bakasura died in the first fight, I was able to pick up both. It was just fantastic. I believe I picked up both. Bakasura might have killed the first one. I can't quite remember. But we did kill both of them in exchange for Bakasura, which was a win in our book. And from there, I was just able to snowball because Bakasura, again, judiciously ganked and left the lane. Fafnir judiciously ganked as well, but he stayed in lane too long. And again, just as one final recap, this does really emphasize how little a support's kill-death ratio means in the grand scheme. We won. Bakasura was almost a full 4,000 gold. It was a clean 3,000 gold ahead of Fafnir. Alright? And he had just as many kills, but he died way more often. And Fafnir was 3 levels down, despite dying a third of the times Bakasura did. Okay? It's very important that you understand that for those of you who play support, or those of you interested in playing support, your KDA does not matter if you are support. It doesn't. I don't care what items you are. I don't care what support you're playing as. Bakasura, theoretically, out of between Fafnir and Bakasura can turn those kills into something useful because he actually has legitimate damage output. So does Fafnir, but Bakasura's is a bit more designed to be damagey. And it didn't matter. It does not matter. It does not matter how much you can roll that in. So, in comparison, sure, it could. Bakasura getting a kill is more useful than Fafnir getting a kill, sure. But in the grand scheme of the match, the difference is very mild. You can see it right here in the scores. It's really, if you're playing support, don't worry about your kills or deaths. It just doesn't matter. But anyways, I hope I inspired you to give ADC Zhong Kui a try. Now keep in mind, one last final warning, I've practiced with Zhong Kui a lot. I have Zhong Kui at Diamond for a reason. I've played him fairly extensively. In all 3 roles, mid, ADC, and solo. I know what I'm doing here, and Zhong Kui, I should have put this addendum at the end of the last episode as well, but Zhong Kui is not easy to play. He's easy to understand. He's a very simple, straightforward god. That's not a problem. Building him is complex, and understanding aggression from and to Zhong Kui is very important, because your survival revolves entirely around your ability to stun the enemy, your ability to hit the exorcism. It's the mark. Your ability to hit the mark. Your ability to position and time your heal correctly. Your ability to correctly time your Aegis with your ult, something I missed once in that match because I was panicking. It is something you have to practice. So if your first couple of games as ADC Zhong Kui do not go well, don't give up on it. Try it again, take a break, cool down, try it again. Zhong Kui makes for a surprisingly strong ADC pick, and I think he slept on in that role. I think he's slept on in the solo role. I will eventually, depending on, how my luck goes, be doing a mid lane Zhong Kui. Mid lane Zhong Kui is my least favorite way of playing Zhong Kui. As I mentioned earlier, he has a much harder time surviving in that lane without an escape. So just keep that in mind, and just please be very aware that I've practiced with Zhong Kui, so don't just throw him into the solo or ADC lanes and just expect greatness. While he is strong in those roles, it does take some practice to figure out when you want to go in, and when it's a really bad idea to go in, when you can push your luck, and when you really should be concerned for your health. But with that final addendum, I hope you enjoyed. And if you liked this, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, please ignore me. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, that is, suggestions, or requests, please leave them down in the comment section below. And thank you all very much for joining me, and have a great 24 hours.